ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So let me share my screen. Just a minute. Okay. So we saw that in chapter 2, Krishna refuted some of the arguments given by Arjuna. Like Arjuna gave arguments like compassion, no enjoyment, sinful reaction, destruction of the dynasty. That means that he was compassionate on his family members and he was hesitant to fight against them. And then his second argument was that if I kill all my relatives, then with whom I will enjoy my victory. And then if I kill all my relatives, then I will incur sinful activities. That is the third argument. And fourth one is if I kill all these soldiers, then their wives will be unprotected, and from such unprotected women, it will come unwanted progeny. So these are the arguments given by Arjuna. And then in the second chapter, seventh verse, Arjuna expresses his ability. He is expressing that he is not able to take decisions properly. What should he do? Karpanna dosopahata svabhava prichhami tam dharma sammoda cheta. So then we saw in the second chapter, verse number 11 to 30, by Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga, that means the analysis of body and soul, Krishna refuted the compassion argument. By Sakam Karma Yoga, in verse number 31 to 37, Krishna refuted no enjoyment argument. In Niskam Karma Yoga 38 to 53, which is detached work without reactions, so Krishna refuted the sinful reactions argument. So there is one argument remaining, which will be refuted in this chapter. So let us start this third chapter. So the third chapter begins with some questions of Arjuna. Arjuna asks something. Let us see what is that. So Arjuna is asking, Arjuna Uvacha जायसी चेत कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन tam kim karmani ghore mam niyojayashi Keshavam. So Arjuna is telling that, O Keshava, O Krishna, you are engaging me in this warfare activities, but yeah. So basically, Arjuna is confused by the Krishna statements in chapter number 2. In chapter 2, Krishna explained about detached work and so many things like Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sakam Karma Yoga, Niskam Karma Yoga, all those things Krishna described. Now Arjuna is perplexed. He is asking Krishna that why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work? So Buddhi Yoga was described. Buddhi Yoga means an intelligent person will perform detached work. He will not perform work for getting some fruits. So that is the Buddhi Yoga. So now Arjuna's understanding is that Krishna told him to do detached work, and in this way he will get rid of the reactions. But what Arjuna understood is that I should not perform any work, and by that I can be detached from work. So Arjuna misunderstood the phrase detached work. So Arjuna thought it is detachment from work, but Krishna meant detachment in work. You have to work with detachment. But Arjuna thought it is renunciation of work. So that is the problem. That is why Arjuna is asking. So you are telling me about Buddhi Yoga, and Buddhi Yoga means I should renounce all my works, and at the same time you are telling me to fight also. So fighting is a ghastly warfare activity. So you are engaging me in warfare activity, and also you are telling that become detached. So Arjuna has a doubt that Arjuna is thinking to become detached from work or to become free from all reactions of work. I need to renounce all kinds of activities. But then Arjuna is asking, you are also telling me that you should fight. So this is contradictory. So then Arjuna is telling, व्यामिश्रणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहायसीव मे तद एकं वद निश्चय येन श्रेयो हम अपनुयम. So tad ekam vada nischitya. You say only one statement, not this contradiction. Once you are telling me to fight, and on the other way you are telling me to become detached. So Arjuna does not have the concept that one can be detached while working. So this concept is not understood by Arjuna till now. So Krishna will explain that. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. Tell me only one thing, whether I should renounce my work or whether I should do my work. So I hope the doubt is clear, right? Then you will be able to comprehend about the answers. Anyone has any questions regarding the doubt of Arjuna? They can unmute and say, or maybe raise hand. If you have doubt about the question of Arjuna. Okay, I hope it is understood that basically Arjuna is thinking that detachment means I should not perform any work. So that is why he cannot understand how a person can work as well as he can be detached. So this is not understood by Arjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, that is Gyan or Sankhya, and others by devotional service. So Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishta Pura Prakta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So Lord is telling there are two classes of men. So some category of people, they try to understand it by empirical and philosophical speculation, Sankhya Yoga, and other try by Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga, basically they lead to one point. Sankhya Yoga means analysis of body and soul, and by analysis of body and soul, you reach to the point that I am not this body, I am soul. So I should work in the platform of soul. That means I have no material duty. I should work for Krishna. So that is the goal of Sankhya Yoga. And Karma Yoga, the goal of Karma Yoga is also to be engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. Right? So we discussed about the differences of this Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So Karma Yoga means I am offering the fruits of my work to Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in Bhakti Yoga, I am doing the work for him. Right? So Karma Yoga means I am doing whatever I like, but I offer the fruits to Krishna. But in Bhakti Yoga, I do whatever Krishna like and I offer the fruit to Krishna. So Bhakti Yoga is one step higher. So that is why Srila Prabhupada is translating this Karma Yoga and Yoginam, this Karma Yoga as devotional service. And we discussed this many times that why Srila Prabhupada is giving devotional service, because he understands the heart of Krishna. So he is giving us the essence. So then Lord continues to explain, not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reactions, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. न कर्मणा अनारंभं नैष्कर्मं पुरुषुष्णुते न च संन्यासनादेव सिद्धिं समाधि गच्छति. So directly Krishna understood what is the problem of Arjuna. So Krishna is very expert. He is in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So he understands what is the problem. Arjuna is thinking, I told him about detachment, and Arjuna is thinking that to become detached, I have to renounce work. But it is not the case. Lord is telling that you work, but you work in a detached manner. You work for me. That is why Krishna is saying, not by merely abstaining for work can one achieve freedom from reaction. Oh Arjuna, if you think that if you do not work, you will be freed from the reactions of work, that is not true. Nor by renunciation alone one can attain perfection. If you think that by renunciation of work you will attain perfection, that is not true. If I am not doing work, then I will be engaged in some sinful activities, because it is the nature of the soul that it always engages in some activity. So if you are not performing the prescribed duties, you will be doing something nasty and you have to suffer the reactions. Lord will tell in the next verses. Yeah, so this one. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So, Arjuna, you are thinking that you will renounce all your activities and thus you will be free from the reactions of work, but you are in illusion. Nobody can abstain from work. Everybody must do some work because it is the nature of the soul. He cannot be actionless. Soul is always active, doing something. So it is our duty to redirect the actions of the soul from material platform to the service of Krishna. So in that way, we can save the soul. But Arjuna is thinking that uh, this is yeah, sorry. So now we can see that Krishna is telling that everyone is helplessly, they have to work. There is no other alternative. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So if you are thinking that I will abstain from work, that is not going to happen. So therefore, you must do your prescribed duties. So now then Krishna is telling, one who restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So Krishna is criticizing such a person who abstains from all work, but the desire to enjoy the sense object is there, and artificially he renounces all material activities. So he is a pretender. He is not completely purified of all his material contaminations, and he is pretending like he is a liberated soul and he does not have any kind of activity to do. So that is a pretender, mithyachari. Mithyacharasa uchyate. So that kind of thing is not acceptable. So Lord is giving us this kind of teachings. So you can see from 3 to 9, this section is Niskam Karma Yoga is better for Arjuna than Jnana Yoga. So Lord is telling that why Arjuna should perform prescribed duties. Because Arjuna is not in such a level that uh, he can practice Jnana Yoga. So therefore, this Karma Yoga or these prescribed duties should be performed by Arjuna. Because if one artificially renounces while he has the desire to enjoy the sense object, he will be called a pretender, and this is not good. Then on the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is far superior. So one way is that someone is pretending to be some liberated soul, but he is not completely purified. So that is mithachari. And on the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses and begins karma yoga, he is acting according to his whatever is prescribed for him, and he is trying to control the senses. He is far superior. Actually, if one starts acting in Krishna consciousness, he is the topmost, he is most superior. Then Krishna is telling that this is very important verse. Yeah, the next verse. Nityam kuru karmatvam karma jayo hi akarmana sarira yatta pichate na prasiddhyata karmana. Perform a prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. So Krishna directly telling in this verse that perform a prescribed duty, it is good for you. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. So for maintaining your physical body, you have to do some work. So everyone has to do some work. You cannot merely say that I will abstain from all material activities. That is not possible. So that is why you should be doing your prescribed duties. And now, for whom we should work? Yagyarthat karma nonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kwanteya mukta sangha samachara. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will be always remain free from bondage. So here Krishna is explicitly saying Arjuna that Arjuna, you should do your prescribed duties. Whatever you are thinking is not a good idea, that you will renounce all your activities. But you do your activities for Vishnu. In that way, you will be free from the reactions of work. So Krishna is saying work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage. What does it mean? If you do not work for Vishnu, then it will cause bondage. And if you work for Vishnu, it will not cause bondage. You will always remain free from bondage. If you perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, you will be always free from bondage. So this is the point Krishna is trying to make. And this is the doubt of Arjuna. Okay. Yeah. So then, in the beginning of creation, Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna or sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." So, working for Vishnu is called yajna. Yajna means Vishnu. So working for Vishnu or performing activities for the satisfaction of Vishnu is called yajna. So this element of yajna was created in the beginning of the creation. Right? Yeah. So you can see the process of yajna will be explained in 10 to 16, these verses. And yagya is the reason for different kinds of grains. Actually, yagya brings rain and rain brings grain. And if we offer that grain to Krishna, and if we take that prasadam, then we will be free from all sinful activities. So that is the true utilization of yagya. That will be explained here. So here Vishnu is explained as the Yagyapati. Shriyapatir Yagyapatir Prajapatir Dhiyampatir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandraga Vishnu Satyatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satampati. The Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of all living creatures, all worlds and all beauties, the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yagyas for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in this material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety. And after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. So this is the purpose of yagya. And in Kali Yuga, Prabhupada is mentioning our yagya is Sankirtana yagya, which is propagated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The demigods being pleased by sacrifices will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. So if you satisfy Vishnu by performance of yagya, the managers of Vishnu is demigods, they will be pleased and they will supply necessary ingredients like rain and all other things will be supplied in abundant quantity, which is essential for living, and then there will be no scarcity. In charge of various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yagya, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. So we have to be very much grateful, and whatever we receive from the demigods, we need to pay them back. But we should understand that how to pay it back. So in Srimad Bhagavatam it is explained that Yatha Tarun Mula Nisechanena Tripyanti Tat Skanda Bhujopashaka Pranopaharat Chathendriyanam Tatheva Sarvarhanam Achyutecha. So if you worship Krishna, then all the demigods are automatically satisfied. So that is the actual process of uh, showing your gratitude to the demigods. You should be devotee of the Supreme Lord. Then comes that yajnasishta sino santo muchyante sarva kilvishai gunjate te tu agham papa je pachanti atmakaranat. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first to the sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So here we can see that what is the importance of taking Krishna Prasad. So if we are not taking Krishna Prasad and we are only eating for sense gratification, then that is a great sinful activity, because Lord has provided us with all grains and milk, fruits, all these necessary things, food items. But if we are accepting all those things by for our sense enjoyment, and we are not offering them back to the Supreme Lord, then we will commit sinful activities. And then if we commit such sinful activities, we cannot be happy. So Prabhupada is telling here. Hmm. How can a person be happy if he is both thief and sinful? So such a person is thief who is not offering back to the Supreme Lord. It is not possible. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respect, they must be taught to perform easy process of Sankirtan Yoga in full Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there will be no peace and happiness in the world. Then in the 14th verse, Krishna is telling, Annat bhavanti bhutani parjannat anna sambhava yagyat bhavati parjanya yagya karma samudbhava. All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are products produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yagya or sacrifice, and yagya is born of prescribed duties. So here we can see the whole chain, that if you perform yagya, it will produce rains. An abundant quantity of rain is necessary for producing grains, and by eating these grains, different living entities, they live their life. So therefore, for our basic necessities also, we should perform yagya. And what is yagya? Yagya is yagya karma samudbhava. Yagya is born of prescribed duties. And what is the prescribed duty for Kali Yuga? That is Harinam Sankirtan. So if you are doing Harinam Sankirtan or performing the Sankirtan Yogya, all the necessities of our life will be taken care. Right. So this is the statement by Krishna himself. Yeah. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. So by sacrifice only, because it is mentioned in the Vedas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will be pleased. And Yagya Vai Vishnu, we know that the Yagya means acting for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Yeah. So in the acts of sacrifice, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated, and he will be happy by the performance of Yagya. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow the human life, the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas, certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. If a person is not performing yajna or prescribed duties, but only living for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain, because through all his activities he is committing sinful, full of sins, and he has to suffer the reactions of such sinful activities, and therefore the human life, he is just wasting his human life. Yeah. So till this point, we saw that how the process of yajna is explained and how Lord is supremely pleased by the performance of yajna. Specifically for Kali Yuga, that process of yajna is Harinam Sankirtan. So now from 17 to 35, Niskam Karma Yoga to set right example. This will be explained. So Krishna will give different examples also of Janak Maharaj and himself. So in the beginning of the chapter, we saw that Krishna was recommending that Arjuna should perform prescribed duties because Arjuna is not qualified for Jnana Yoga. So basically Jnana Yoga means that one understands, one is in real knowledge, and one understands the futility of material activities. And in that consciousness, he is not engaged in material activities. But Krishna is telling, if someone tries to imitate that stage immaturely, then he will be called a Mithachari. And he is telling Arjuna, Arjuna, you are not qualified for Jnana Yoga. That is why you should perform this Karma Yoga, or you should perform your prescribed duties, because ultimately both are going to same direction. We know that Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavanmam Prapadyate. So the conclusion of Jnana Yoga is also to surrender unto Krishna, and conclusion of Karma Yoga is also serving Krishna. So both are actually uniting in Bhakti Yoga. Both the culmination of Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is in Bhakti Yoga. But this process of Karma Yoga is easier and it is suitable for Arjuna. And the process of Jnana Yoga is little bit difficult, and Arjuna is not qualified for Jnana Yoga. So that was in the first section. So now in this section, Krishna will analyze that Arjuna, first of all, I told you we are not qualified for Jnana Yoga. That is why you should perform Karma Yoga. Now I am telling you that even if you are qualified for Jnana Yoga, you should perform your prescribed duties. So you can see always Krishna, whatever answer he is giving, it is very, very all inclusive. That means that there is no other way. So Krishna is analyzing from all different types of angles. Like we saw in the second chapter, if you remember, that Krishna analyzed, if you are considering yourself to be on the platform of the soul, then also you should not lament. And if you are considering that this body is made up of chemicals, then also you should not lament. So Krishna is analyzing both the sides, and by analyzing, Krishna is drawing the same conclusion. So here also, Krishna is telling Arjuna, if you are not eligible for Jnana Yoga, that is why you should perform Karma Yoga. And now Krishna is telling that even if you are qualified for Jnana Yoga, then also you should perform your prescribed duties. So let us see in this section what Krishna says. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satisfied, for him there is no duty. So Krishna is explaining that for whom there is no duty. You are telling that you will renounce your duty, but you are actually not at that stage that you can renounce your duties. There are some qualifications. There are some qualifications of persons who can renounce their duties. You should be atmarati, atmatripta. You should take pleasure in the self, and whose human life is one of self-realization, completely satisfied in the self, fully satiated. For him, there is no duty. If you are completely satisfied in the self, that means in the liberated platform, then you have no duty. But Arjuna, you are not in this level. That was the statement in the previous section. Now, in this section, Krishna is telling a self-realized man.
You told that if one is in the Jnana Yoga, he must be fully satisfied.
Yeah.
But if he's means if he's fully satisfied, then why it is told that Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga?
No. Krishna is telling that Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga for Arjuna, because Karma Yoga is easier to perform and Arjuna is not at the level of Jnana Yoga. Now, Krishna in the second verse, if you remember, the Lokesmin Dividha Nishta Pura Prakta Maya Nagha Karma Yogena Yoginam Sankha Yogena Jnana Yogena Sankhanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So there Krishna is telling both the paths are meeting in the same point. By Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga and by Karma Yoga, you are reaching the same point. But this path of Karma Yoga is easier for Arjuna to perform. Therefore, Krishna is recommending that. One who is in liberated platform, he can practice Jnana Yoga, but Arjuna is not qualified for that. So that was our first section. And now we are discussing the section where Krishna will tell, even if Arjuna, you are eligible for Jnana Yoga, you should perform prescribed duties. So why? That we'll see in this section. So here Krishna is telling that a self-realized man, that means who is completely liberated and self-satiated and completely satisfied in the self, has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work. This is very important. A self-realized person does not have any reason to not perform such work because he is completely satisfied. He has no duty. But he can also perform activity. There is no harm in that. He is not attached to action or inaction, nor has he any need to depend on other living being. So a person, if he is in the liberated platform, self-realized platform, in that stage one is eligible for Jnana Yoga. That means he has no activity in that stage. But in that stage, he has nor has he any reason not to perform such work. That means he can also perform work in such exalted level because he has no restrictions that you cannot perform work. He is completely liberated. He is not attached to a particular kind of work and he is not attached to inaction also. He can work, and Krishna will give examples. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. So as a matter of duty, you should work. Kings like Janaka attained perfection solely by the performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating people in general, you should perform your work. So here Krishna is telling the purpose. First of all, in the first section, beginning of the chapter, Krishna told Arjuna that Arjuna, you are not qualified for Jnana Yoga, therefore you should perform Karma Yoga. Now, here Krishna is giving examples that even if some person is qualified for Jnana Yoga, he should still perform his prescribed duties to educate people in general. Like he is giving example of Janak Maharaj. Janak Maharaj is a self-realized soul and he has no duty. That means if Janak Maharaj does not perform his prescribed duties, there will be no harm because he is already in the liberated platform. But still Janak Maharaj is doing the duties as a king and Kshatriya. Why? Just for the sake of educating people. Because if the king is not doing any activity, then general people, they will also follow, they will also not do their prescribed duties. But Janak Maharaj is in the liberated platform, but ordinary people are not in the liberated platform, so they should do their prescribed duties. Janak Maharaj, if he does not do prescribed duties, there is no harm for him. But imitating Janak Maharaj, if the ordinary people abstains from their prescribed duties, they have a harm. So therefore, to educate people, the self-realized Jnana Yogis or the self-realized souls who are eligible for Jnana Yoga, they also perform prescribed duties. And Krishna is giving example of Janak Maharaj. Now this is very important. Yad shreshthas tattat evetaro janam sajat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate. Whatever actions great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So therefore, a respectable person, a leader, should act. Also, although Janak Maharaj is in the transcendental platform, he is completely liberated. He is not bound to do any activity. He has no duty. Still, he is performing his activities for the sake of educating people in general. Just a minute. Yeah. So, for educating people in general, the self-realized souls also they work. Now, Janak Maharaj's example Krishna gave. Now, Krishna gives example of himself. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. नामे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानव्यप्तामवप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि. O son of Pritha, there is no work prescribed for me within the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. So I have no prescribed duties. What is the duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is there any duty that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has to do it? Otherwise, you will be in great trouble. No, nothing like that. नतस्य कार्यं कारणं च विद्यते न तत्समश्चभ्यधिकश्च दृश्यते परस्य शक्तिर्विविधैव श्रूयते स्वाभाविकी ज्ञानबल क्रिया च. Krishna is not bound to do any activity. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokesu kinchana. In these three worlds, in the three planetary system, there is no work prescribed for me. Everything is maintained by the expansion of the expansion of Krishna. Krishna is completely free. He does not have any duties. Still, Krishna performs duties. He is performing his duty with the Pandavas. He is there during the Kurukshetra war. He is giving guidance. In the Dwarka, he is performing activities like a king. He is maintaining his family. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no duty, still he is performing prescribed duties. Why? And yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Why? That will be answered here. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. So if I do not perform activities, people in general will tell, see this, our Bhagavan, he is not performing, so we will also not perform our prescribed duties. But they will not understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he does not perform his prescribed duties, there is no problem, everything is already done. But if I do not perform prescribed duties, there is great problem for me. So just to protect the general populace, although Krishna or Janak Maharaj, these great souls or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they does not have any duty. Still, they are performing prescribed duties to educate people. Right, you understood. So now, till 35th verse, this point will be described. So we can see that in the first portion, Krishna was telling that Arjuna, you are not eligible for Karma Yoga. Sorry, you are not eligible for Jnana Yoga. And Karma Yoga is easier for you. Therefore, you should perform your prescribed duties, which is Karma Yoga. And now, Krishna is telling that even if you become eligible for Jnana Yoga, you should work for educating the general people. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put into ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Then Krishna is telling, as the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path. So the ignorant people, they perform their duties, but they have attachment to the results. They do sakam karma. But the learned mean the self-realized ones. They may also similarly act like Janak Maharaj is acting, but there is no attachment. They are acting for educating people in the right path. Hope this thing is becoming clear. So, as not to disturb the minds of ignorant men attached to fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for their gradual development in Krishna consciousness. So, there are different categories of people. Some people are in the low consciousness level, they are attached to fruitive activities. That means they perform activities to get some results. So now if you as the king or as the leader, if you abandon your activities, they will imitate you and they will reject their activities. And thus they will be in great trouble. Their spiritual progress will be hampered. Therefore, not to disturb them and to maintain their gradual development in Krishna consciousness, they should keep on performing their prescribed duties. Now they are performing prescribed duties with attachment, and after purification, after some time, they will perform prescribed duties without attachment. So one should not disturb them. That means the leader should not abstain from performing prescribed duties, because otherwise the followers will also abandon and their spiritual progress will be hampered. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself to be the doer of the activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. This is one important verse. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankara bimurātma karta ham iti manyata. So these self-realized souls, they act in a mood of devotion. They think that we are insignificant. Everything is carried out by the three modes of material nature. Paramatma sanctions and three modes of material nature executes. I am just an instrument. The ignorant person thinks that I am the doer because he is bewildered by the influence of the false ego. So a self-realized person does not act in such a way. He also acts, but he understands that what is my position. One who is in knowledge of absolute truth, O mighty armed, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. So he chooses work in devotion, the self-realized souls. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engages themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior to the performance lack of knowledge. The wise should not unsettle them. That means the same thing, that the leader should act, and if he abandons his prescribed duties, then the followers will abandon, and thus they will be unsettled. Right? So even if you are eligible for Jnana Jaga, you should perform your prescribed duties to educate general populace. Mai sarvani karvani sannyas adhatma chetasa nirasir nirmamo bhutva juddhasya vigata jvara. So now Krishna is telling a practical method how you can do that. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full of knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims of proprietorship, and free from lethargy fight. So here we see the mention of Mai, means unto me. That means that Krishna is giving a hint of devotional service here. Although Krishna is not describing devotional service in this third chapter, but Prabhupada is giving us devotional service out of his mercy. And Krishna will describe devotional service in the latter chapters like 7 to 12. But still, Krishna is giving an easy way that if you take to devotional service, all these things become very easy to perform. So how you can practically do that? Mai sarvani karmani sannyas adhakta chetasa. You you surrender all your works unto me. That means you work for me with full knowledge of me, with desire, without desires for profit, no claims of proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So if you work for me, everything becomes easy. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow the teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of the fruitive activities. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. So if someone is not following the instructions of Krishna, then he will be ruined and he will not become perfect, and their endeavors for perfection will be baffled. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? That means even the self-realized souls are also working, Arjuna. So why you should not work? First of all, you are not eligible for Jnana Yoga. Then you should do Karma Yoga. And even if you are eligible for Jnana Yoga, I have given examples of myself and other self-realized souls like Janak Maharaj. They are performing work. You know, what is the use of your statements that you are telling that I will not perform work? Everyone is performing work. The self-realized ones are performing work for educating people, and the Karma Yogis are performing work because of their own need. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and sense object. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. So you should not have attachment and aversion. We become attached to something we like and we become averse to something we don't like. So we should be free from all these things. Then only we are liberated. Like Arjuna is averse from fighting, although fighting is the prescribed duty for him. So sometimes, like students, they has to study, but sometimes they do not like to study. So we have to become liberated from all this attachment and aversion. So we should not have any attachment or aversion also. That person is perfect. So for such a person, like who is not having attachment or aversion, there is no problem if he is given some work. Like Janak Maharaj, although he is liberated, he has no issue with performing prescribed duties because he is not averse towards his prescribed duties. There is no problem in executing them, but he does not need them. Still, he is doing. श्रेयान् सधर्म विगुणा परधर्म स्वनुष्ठितात् सधर्मे निधनं श्रेया परधर्म भयावह. It is far better to discharge one prescribed duties even though faultily than another duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duties better than engaging in others' duties. For to follow another's path is dangerous. So here Arjuna is telling that I want to become a renunciant, like a Brahmana, like a renunciant. I will not do my Kshatriya duties. Krishna is telling you are a Kshatriya, and whatever is your prescribed duties, you should perform that. Even if you are very expert in performing duties of others, you should stick to your duty. Distraction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in others' duties. If you are good at something, but your prescribed duty is something else, then you should do your prescribed duties. Even if you die while executing your prescribed duties, like Arjuna may die in the battlefield, but still you should do it. You should not do the prescribed duty for a sannyas. Sadharma nidhanam seya, paradharma bhayava. It is dangerous to follow the prescribed duty for others. Whatever duty is prescribed for you, you should perform. So for us in Kali Yuga, Harinam Sankirtan is the prescribed duties. That is the main prescribed duty in this age. And we should all perform without any, we should not give any excuse. So now Arjuna is asking an important question that Atha kyano prajuktayam papam charati purusha anichannapi varsneya valadiva niyojita. So he is asking about a very important question, and Krishna will answer it like Arjuna's question is that why we are engaged in sinful activities although we don't have desire to perform that. Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one compelled or impelled to sinful activities, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? So we will discuss the answer in the next class, what Krishna answers. So this is an important question. Now Arjuna understood that yeah, this is important for me to perform my prescribed duties. But now Arjuna is convinced. But Arjuna is telling, but there is something, Krishna, that I know that this is my prescribed duty, I should do this. But something resists me from doing whatever is prescribed for me and impelling me to do something else which is not appropriate for me. That means sinful activities. So a person is carried to perform sinful activities. Although he knows that this is my prescribed duty and this is sinful activity, I should not do it, still a force is impelling him to do that. What is that force? So that force is lust. And Krishna will describe about lust, the nature of lust, how to control this in the remaining verses. So we'll conclude here. We are quite late today. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so I feel there should be some questions, right? You have some questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, so now what exactly Janaka Maharaj is performing? Is he doing Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga? Because he is
Oh,
called.
yeah. So see, Janak Maharaj is performing Bhakti Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga is all inclusive. All the benefits of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga is included in Bhakti Yoga. So this thing we will elaborately discuss in chapter 6. So if one is performing Bhakti Yoga, all the benefits are there, right? Like Janak Maharaj is also doing Karma Yoga for Krishna, that is Bhakti Yoga, and Janak Maharaj is also having the knowledge, so he is having Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga also, because he is performing Bhakti Yoga. So all the things are included in that.
That is fine, bro. But if we take some person who is qualified for Jnana Yoga, but still for educating others, he will be performing some karma, his prescribed duties. Then he is whether he is called Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga.
Yeah, so by activity he is a Karma Yogi, but he is eligible for Jnana Yoga.
Then that means then nobody will perform Jnana Yoga.
No, somebody will perform. Somebody will perform. So Krishna is telling that some Jnana Yogis or some persons who are eligible for Jnana Yoga, they descend from the stage of Jnana Yoga and they come to Karma Yoga to educate people. So that is their compassion. So this is similar to the fact that we see in Bhakti also, that some of our acharyas are Bhajananandi, but some are Goshthanandi. Srila Prabhupada once said that Uttamadhikari cannot distinguish between an atheist and a devotee. For a Uttamadhikari, he is seeing everyone is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord except me. I am the only sinful person standing here. Everyone else is engaged in Krishna's service. So if one is having such a mindset, then how can he preach? So therefore, to preach, one has to come to the stage of Madhyam Adhikari. So similarly, some persons may take to Jnana Yoga, but that is very rare and that is not recommended. But mostly, like Janak Maharaj, he is a devotee. That is why he is having compassion, and that is why, although he is eligible for Jnana Yoga, he is not performing Jnana Yoga. He is performing his prescribed duties. So somebody can perform. There is no problem. But some out of compassion do not perform that. And obviously, Janak Maharaj is a devotee and he is compassionate enough.
Yes, bro.
So basically, if you ask me that this Jnana Yoga is very difficult to perform, like this is impersonalistic thing, and that is not recommended in our philosophy. Like some people you see here, they are impersonalist, so they reject everything neti neti. So that thing is Jnana Yogis. That is not recommended by Arjuna. So Arjuna is telling, I have a devotee, Janaka, you know, and he is eligible for Jnana Yoga. Because he is a Bhakti Yogi, he is eligible for everything. So he is also eligible for Jnana Yoga. But still you see, he is not performing Jnana Yoga. He is performing Karma Yoga or devotional service. So here Krishna only addresses his qualification to perform Jnana Yoga. Krishna is not mentioning that Janaka is a Jnana Yogi. Krishna is only telling that he has the capacity to perform Jnana Yoga because he is a devotee. He has all the qualifications.
Yes, bro. I understand. Thank you, bro.
Okay. So if there is any other questions, please text me because it is late today. So we will end here. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।